Well, because the first two World Cup of Hockey tournaments didn't gain much traction, there are some even few skeptics out there about this one, especially because of the format. There's a Team Europe featuring players from various countries, and Team North America is comprised of the best Canadian and American players under the age of 23. So how are hockey fans reacting to all this? Well, we're going to put that question to our next guest, Stephen Dangle Glynn. Nice sunglasses there, Stephen. He's a hockey blogger with Rogers Sportsnet. Sasky Stewart's a hockey fan and sports marketing professional. Welcome to the two of you.
Oh, thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
Well, listen, Sasky, I'm going to begin with you because you're in studio here, and I'm going to talk about enthusiasm for this, because really there are skeptics about this format, skeptics about whether or not hockey fans will actually be excited about this World Cup of Hockey. What's your take? Are people getting into this?
Look, I think people are getting into this, and I'm not sure if it's necessarily because they're excited about the idea of there being a World Cup of Hockey, or it's the fact that we haven't had hockey for 4, 5, nearly 6 months right now. So everyone's really eager to see their favourite players and everyone back on the ice. Whether it's the tournament themselves that they're excited about, I'm not quite sure.
Stephen?
I think Sasky kind of hit it there. And sorry, I'll take these off. I didn't have any Team North America stuff.
Who does? Who does?
Fans have been very hockey deprived. But I think it's going to be a lot of fun. You know, I was very skeptical of the tournament at first. Like you mentioned off the top, there's two teams that are made up. You know, I don't know if World Cup is the best name for it, but if we get outside of all of that, I think it's going to be really fun. And isn't that what it's all about?
Possibly. There is this idea floated out there, and I'm going to go back to you on this one, Sasky, this idea that perhaps this World Cup of Hockey can actually overshadow the Olympics when it comes to international hockey. What do you think?
Well, I mean, I think the NHL would love to see it get to a point where this is something that is considered on par with the Olympics. We're talking about a tournament that features theoretically the best players in the world from the best hockey playing countries. But this is a tournament that's only happened 3 times. This is the 3rd time, I believe. And the Olympics themselves are a concept that extends outside of hockey. And it's something about being the best in all of the sports in the world. And I think with the Olympics being such a cultural kind of phenomena, whether you like it or not, I think it's very hard to think that this could replace or supplant the Olympics as far as popularity, particularly with European nations.
Steve, what do you think? Because really this is the NHL trying to expand its brand to a global scale here.
Well, absolutely. I mean, the World Cup will be a big revenue generator for the NHL. It's a chance for the NHL to showcase their talent without really having to share the spotlight. For example, Team Switzerland probably could have iced a pretty good hockey team, but about half the team, maybe even more, wouldn't have been NHL players. I hope the World Cup succeeds, but at the same time, I was at the gold medal game in 2010 in Vancouver, and the idea of the NHL not being a part of a moment like that ever again, no, absolutely not. I mean, as a hockey fan, I want to watch more hockey. So I think there's room for the Olympics and the World Cup. I hope the NHL agrees.
Well, Sasky, you know, it does beg the question about trying to expand this brand into a global brand, because, and I'm thinking about you personally, you're an Aussie, a country that's not known for hockey, let alone hockey fans. Do you think something like this can actually expand hockey into different countries, into different markets?
I think yes, hockey the NHL is really actively trying to expand into different markets. Whether this kind of tournament is the best way to go about it, because we're really only seeing, 6 to 8 kind of countries represented and a few more here and there in the European market. There is some advantages when it comes to expanding the presence in the European market. The earlier game times, all of those kind of things have really helped the NHL get more viewers in Europe. And we know this is a strategy of theirs. We've seen the season starting games that they've played before. Whether it kind of helps expand to countries beyond Europe, I think there's probably a few more effective ways that they could go about it than this kind of tournament.
Yeah, well, it's a little bit like, the World Series, when it's American teams that are essentially playing for the World Series, with the exception of Toronto. And here you have the World Cup of Hockey, but you have Team North America, Team Europe. Why just not spread it out, actually make national teams that compete for this World Cup, Steve?
Well, I think more countries are technically in the mix now, because Team Europe has 8 different nations representing it. But I mean, one thing the NHL should definitely be concerned about is the KHL, the Continental Hockey League, which I think a lot of people would argue is the second best league in the world, third at worst. They've now expanded to China. So they have a team there, and they're now gaining fans there. The next Olympics are in Seoul, Korea. So they definitely want to get more in line with inclusion than excluding. I hope that Team Europe, A, succeeds, but B, they have different players getting in the mix, different players getting a chance to be the hero. Anze Kopitar is the captain, and he's from Slovenia. I think they have a few French players. Leon Draisaitl is a very exciting young player from Germany, and even though Germany is often involved in tournaments like these, they don't have a team this time. Maybe he can carry the torch. I think it would have also been great to have 16 teams instead of 8.
Mm-hmm. And you've been nodding your head yes to all of this, Sasky.
Yeah, I think one of the main reasons that we see Team Europe and Team North America in a tournament like this, particularly Team Europe itself, it's a lot harder to have a 16-team tournament than an 8-team tournament, particularly at the start of the season, with all the capacities you need for ice time and all of that. I think if you have a 16-team tournament, you basically have the World Championships, and you've just kind of changed the time where it is. And that's not a property the NHL owns. So I think kind of the introduction of Team Europe and Team North America here has really been about, I guess, kind of involving more players, but also as a bit of a marketing ploy. It's a little bit different. It's something we don't see. We're talking about it now, which is kind of what they're hoping to get out of it, I think.
Okay, we're totally running out of time here, but predictions. Steve, I'll begin with you. Who are you predicting to win this?
My colleague Jeff Merrick doesn't think...
Love Jeff Merrick, by the way, just because he used to be my work colleague here at CBC.
Same, but he's got silly opinions, and one of those opinions is that North America won't win a single game, and he's absolutely wrong. I would love to see them win the whole thing. I call it McDavid versus Goliath. You know, I'm not even... don't let the sunglasses fool you. I'm not cheering for Team Canada in this thing, because it's no fun cheering for Goliath. I want the kids to win it. So that's my prediction, whether it's dumb or not.
Okay, Sasky.
I would love to see Team North America win it, as Steve just said. Do I think they will? No, I think we'll be seeing Team Canada win it. If not, we're going to get a really good story out of it anyway.
Okay, sounds good. Well, I'll root for Team Canada, since neither of you are really officially rooting for Team Canada. So thank you for that, Stephen, Dangle, Glynn.